Hello YouTube, I am back. Took a little bit of a hiatus, but I've come back and I am getting back into a classic actually, Diablo 2, and this is the resurrected version. Man, I remember Diablo 2 back in the day when I was a little boy. Does anybody else? The memories. Anyway, what I wanted to look at today was a build, and I'm going to go ahead and name drop here. Icy Veins, Mr. Lama, I do believe he calls himself Mr. Lama. Icy Veins. You might know him. He's got a lot of really good information on builds and stuff like that. So, shout out to him. His website particularly has been a lot of help in how to, I don't know, make it less frustrating to get into the game. But anyway, enough about that. That was my shout out for the day. I would like to take a look at this build though, because this isn't by any means like the best, the greatest. I don't have top-notch equipment. Well, I might have one piece of top-notch equipment, and I'll go over that as I go through this character. But all of that being said, what I wanted to do really was offer up, because I'm not seeing a lot of this. Is what is some good mid-level gear? What is some? I'm rune poor. You know, I don't have the time to sit and do this all day. I don't have the money. I don't have, you know, I'm not, well, maybe it's not that I don't have the money. It's, I don't want to put the money into the game too, because, hey, I've heard stories. Some people actually drop, you know, USD on a website and have whatever it is they ordered delivered right to their character in game. Hey, go figure. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to say, okay, these are things that, you know, are pretty effective. I mean, look at my Barbarian here. He's level 88. Okay, he's level 88. He does Act 1 hell pretty good. I say pretty good. You have to be sort of careful, but if you get your characters decent equipment, you know, it makes the experience a little bit better. You don't have to get so frustrated about where's the runes, I can't ever find a job, I can't ever find a bear, nobody will sell me, blah blah blah. I know, it can be really frustrating, okay? But first, let's take a look at some skills. Again, this is a frenzy barb, and the idea of course is, if you're going to say, I want to build a frenzy barb, I'm going to build any character around any skill. What are the synergies? You want to do everything you can to maximize the effectiveness of that skill. And I'll hopefully be able to take this thing for a test run and show you guys later what that's going to look like. But anyway, so for gear, area space, you can get a hold of these, you can obtain these. There's different ways to do this. Things that I have found to be effective. No, I'm not going to say go and run Andariel 1,000 times. Go and run Mephisto 1,000 times. I don't know about you guys, but my Barbarian here struggles. He struggles. I'm not going to lie. I never said I was the greatest player and I had the greatest character ever. I'm not going to lie. My Barbarian struggles with Act 3 Hill. I don't know, something about those little dolls. He struggles. He does. Right? I mean, he can get through it if I'm really, really careful. Right? Mercenary's a big help, but anybody who's familiar with this game knows the mercenaries sometimes don't hang around too long. So, anyway, area at space. I got this on a trade. I do believe I traded a Sunder Charm for this guy, which was actually fairly convenient because I had been in. And there's some advice for you, all right? Please try to pick through this for the hidden advice. There's going to be hidden advice in here, things that I've done that have worked. And again, I know how frustrating it can be to just say pit run after pit run after pit run after pit run, trying to find things. Sometimes if you go into those free rooms, you know, free junk, stuff that people don't want anymore, they just go into a normal, just set your filter to normal and look for free. The more people in it, typically the better, though you have to have good reaction times. Nonetheless, the idea is that sometimes you can get things there that maybe you can't use or don't want to use, value. All right. I got into one where somebody was just dumping annies. I mean, it was like 50 annies that the dude came in and dropped. Where are all these things coming from? This was one of them. I know, it's a 1910 7% XP, but so what? It's an annie. Okay. You've got something. Something is better than nothing, right? So, the Ariad space, I got that from trading a Sunder Charm. Not necessarily a Bone Break. I don't think it was a Bone Break. It might have been one of the Lightning Sunders that I managed to get. Now, a couple of those charms, I'll admit, I went through Terror Zones. I was able to get some of myself, but I picked up like 3 or 4, again, from one of those just random drop rooms. All right? It's beneficial to go in there and spend 1 to 5 minutes, maybe. If nothing's happening, leave sooner. But if you jump in, hang around for a couple seconds, and then one of the big guys come in. Ooh, what's he gonna drop? What's he gonna drop? So, trust me, go into the free rooms from time to time. They're worthwhile. All right. Or you could trade. You could take the time and trade too. Either way. If somebody doesn't want it, one man's trash is one man's treasure. Hey, go for it. So the Ariad space is nice. It's very, very good. It's probably actually like top tier for a melee barb. What else is a barb going to do? Oh wait, no, there's the singer barb. Or there's the thrower barb. So yeah, a melee barb build, what any barbarian build actually is going to want Ariad space, because it's 2 to combat skills, and then it's 2 more to all barbarian skills. So it's really good to have, plus the other features that it gives you: faster hit recovery, bonus attack rating, life steal, increased strength and dex, and all res 30. Yeah, that's pretty nice. You're going to want that. So Ariad space, if you can get it, great. If not, there are some other ones, and actually here is a helm that might also come in handy for a melee build, is the Bulwark. Shale, Eo, and Soul. Not a terribly expensive rune word. These are actually runes that you can pretty much farm off of Hell Countess. You know, most of those you can get off of Hell Countess. Or anywhere else, really. By the time you get to Hell, you should have some of these saved up somewhere, right? Plus, it replenishes life, gives increased vitality, increases your maximum life too. So not only is it adding life, it's increasing your life cap. Very, very nice to have. This one's ethereal, and I built it for my mercenary. But hey, if it works for a mercenary, it works for a melee build, right? If it works for your mercenary, it works for a melee build. Generally speaking, don't take that to the extreme. All right, moving on. I did build a Duress Dusk Shroud. This was actually another nice rune word. Actually, this was my original Duress, was this one right here. This one has a little bit better on the enhanced damage, but because this was a Dusk Shroud, and this was a superior Dusk Shroud, actually. But I think it was like a really high roll. It was well over 400. It was like a 420, 430 Dust Shroud. So I was like, all right, I'll use it. Now, word of caution. Word of caution. I've noticed that since I upgraded from an exceptional to an elite item, I've noticed that my repair bills have become astronomically high. I think one of my repair bills was like 1.5 million gold or something like that. So be aware that when you get into higher level stuff in melee, it can be very, very expensive. Okay, very expensive. Now, this by no means is a Chains of Honor or a Fortitude, which I'm working on Fortitude as we speak. I just need a low rune. That's L-O, not a low, like as in a low level rune, L-O-W. No. A low rune, L-O. Anyway, I figured this would be a really actually effective midway point. And again, hey, seriously, something is better than nothing. An upgrade is an upgrade, and equipment does matter. Don't keep rocking. Don't keep running around in like a Twitch throw. Hell, I mean, yeah, if it's all you got, it's all you got. But seriously, how often do you find 3 open socket body? I don't know. I've been finding a lot of them. Anyway, for an amulet, nothing special, just something I found. 2 to masteries. Okay, great. It's not fantastic, but this is about my only option right now. The only other thing I could do actually would be to put in a Saracen's Chance. Might consider that because it's plus 12 to all attributes and resistance is 24. Yeah, so anyway, it's a thought. It's a thought. It's a thought. All right. Honor, once again, nothing special here. It was a relatively cheap rune word, and it turned out to be better than a lot of the other stuff that that I had laying around. I mean, yeah, there's probably some uniques that are better. I don't have them. I haven't found them. I don't have them, and I'm really trying to save runes right now to build up for something else. So it's part of what you have to do, right? It's part of what you have to do. Moving on to the boots. Goblin toe light-plated boots. Hey, these are nothing to bat an eye at. I used to say light-plated boots. I'm in hell difficulty. What do I want to wear light-plated boots for? 25% chance of crushing blow. Hello. 25% chance of crushing. Hey, that's not bad. And you know what I can do with this? And it's something that for the longest time it just never occurred to me. It's like, okay, whatever. There's a Herodic Cube recipe that'll bump it. Okay, for those of you that don't know that, mind has been blown, right? Yes, there's a Herodic Cube recipe where you can bump levels on items. So you can take this and turn them into, what's the next upgrade from the light-plated boot? Is it war boots? And then there's like the mirrored greaves or something like that. Yeah. So you can take these all the way up to elite level, which of course is going to raise the defense and the durability. Hey, it's a thought. It's something to consider. Right. Moving on. Probably, and this is highly touted as probably best in slot for a melee build. For most, actually a lot of builds, this ring, the Ravenfrost ring, recommended for pretty much every build. Why? Cannot be frozen. Right? Not to mention, gives you cold absorb, bumps your dex, gives you some cold damage, and a nice little boost to your attack rating. So it's thereby going to increase your chances to hit. With a melee character who's heavily dependent on lifesteal, it's a very important thing. You don't want to be swinging around and missing in the heat of combat. So, yeah, if you find a Ravenfrost, keep it. If you find 2 or 3 Ravenfrost, I almost guarantee each and every one of your characters is going to want one. Definitely your melee characters. If you have a Zealer Paladin or a martial arts assassin, even my Javazan, I like to have one of these on my Javazan. Why? Then she can't be frozen. She doesn't get stuck, caught, and die because those things are glass cannons, right? So next up, I have a String of Ears Demon Hide Sash. Actually, this is the second one I found, so it's fairly common, unique drop, but it's great. Gives you lifesteal, good defense. Plus, it reduces your physical damage. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want that in a melee build? Physical damage reduced by 11%. Boom, there you go. Right? And plus, you know, it gives you the maximum belt size. So, I'm not ashamed of my gear, actually. Next up, we have the Carrion Wind Ring. This was sort of a really odd find. It was the first time I'd ever seen this specifically, but I said, hey, I'll give it a whirl. It's a melee build, whatever. Whirl, haha. No, this is not a whirlwind barbarian. This is a frenzy barbarian. Anyway, more lifesteal. Primary reason I picked it. But also, 10% damage taken goes to mana. Well, hey, that's going to fuel the frenzy, right? Not to mention, it's kind of got a couple of interesting side effects. 8% chance to cast level 13 Twister, which, as I'm getting higher and higher level, that's becoming less and less irrelevant. But it's still kind of funny to see those Twisters because of Frenzy Barb and then the little Twisters coming off of the end of that. I don't know. There's something comical about that to me. So, defense against missile also is actually rather nice. I'm learning more and more that defense against missile is something that you don't want to neglect. Actually, it's kind of nice to have. Next up, we have the Laying of Hands Bramble Mitts. All right, seriously, this is like the 4th pair of these I found in this ladder. This is ladder season 4 after patch 2.6. This is the 4th pair I found. this ladder run alone. Well, maybe not this specific pair. I think I've actually been swapping out to try to find the one that has the highest defense. Anyway, 20% increased attack speed, 350% damage to demons. You can't go wrong with this. All right, it's not the best. It's not Dracula's. You know, it's not a pair of Dracs, which Dracs would be really nice because they also add lifesteal. Yeah, lifesteal. But I mean, seriously, the laying of hands bramble mitts, and you know, I've tried really hard on several occasions to sell these. They don't sell. Nobody wants to buy them. Maybe it's because they drop all the time, or maybe it's because it's just a really oddball item in the set. I don't know anybody that uses the whole set. The only thing I've ever used, other thing I've used off of that set, I think is Telling of Beads, and that was for the +1 skill. That was for the +1 to all skill. So, okay, you might try to combo it with that if you ever come across it. I mean, off ladder, my Uber Paladin has a pair of these, I do believe, and it's for the increased attack speed. It's really for the increased attack speed. Right. Last but not least, I've been saving this one because this was sort of like, well, I'll see what it sounds really nice. I'll see what happens with it. Unbending Will. Unbending Will. Foul EO if L hell. Right? In a phase blade. Okay? And I don't recall offhand if this was a general melee weapon thing. And I'll provide in the links, actually, in the description rather, I'll provide a link to one of the sites I really like to use, because not only do they have a lot of information about, okay, these are the Herodric Cube recipes, these are the set items and what they do with the complete set, blah, blah, blah. It's sort of a total thing. I think it's like d2r.io or something. I'll include a link in the description when I go ahead and put this up. They also have a really nice link to, okay, these are the items and this is what they sold for and when they sold for. So, you know, you can actually get a history of, well, you know, because that's just it. Oh, I found this really cool looking item. What's it worth? And you can actually see, okay, there's a lot of traffic on this item and people are paying, you know, bear runes for it or something like that. So, hey, there you go. Anyway, that's where I found this particular recipe was on there, and I'm sure there's a lot of other sites. I'm just going to provide the one that I'm most familiar with. And hey, by the way, let's get a discussion going. Y'all tell me what you think. All right. Anyway, I digress. Back to what I was talking about. It sounded good, so I tried it out, and I tell you, it's the best weapon that I have right now for this character. Obviously. I don't have a lightsaber. Well, I do have a lightsaber, but it's not on the ladder right here. But nonetheless, it gives chance to cast taunt. It does 3 to combat skills, which is going to bump sword mastery even more, which is going to increase the damage that you do with swords even more. Increased attack speed, massive increase in damage. I like that, but also 10% lifesteal. It prevents monster heal. Anybody else been really annoyed? It's like they'll be hacking at a monster and all of a sudden its life bar jumps back up because it's healing itself. Or you have to back off because you're about to die, drink a couple potions and then get back into the fight, and by the time you do, somebody's halfway back to full health. Yeah, I hate that too. So this prevents that from happening. It's actually really nice. So that's my primary setup. Alright. And what I've actually been doing is using Battle Cry. In the middle of combat. Why? Less enemy damage, less enemy defense. Okay, doesn't have the greatest area of coverage, but it does work pretty well. On my weapon swap, and this is also part of the budget idea. These things you can find at Mala. These things you can find with Anya and Act 5. You know, really good tactic to do if you're that far. And this is for my war cries, obviously +3 to war cries. This one does +2 to barbarian skills, and what I'm actually hoping to do with that I'll explain here momentarily. Right? But these are really easy to get. You just, like, if you're doing quests in Act 5, right, every time you come back to town, stop by Mala, take a look at what she's got. This one I bought a +3. Now I think the most they can do is +6, and that's a +3, +3. You know, +3 war cries, +3 to skill levels or something along those lines, and that'll get you there. But this is for war cries. It's to bump the level of war cries. So like for hold on a second. That's the exact battle orders. Yeah, for battle orders. All right, on the weapon swap. So there we go, battle orders to battle orders. So it goes 18 to 22. So I'm getting an extra 4, right? All of this. Now, the other thing, and this was an interesting thought actually. This is one of the things that I really want to start trying, and I have room to do it with this character. Go over your war cries. You have find item, right? One skill to find potion, one skill to find item. All right. Now, you can use this not only to bump your battle cries, right? Because you can get up to like level 58, I think, something along those lines on your battle orders, which is going to give you crazy mana and life. All right. But if you set your alternative up right, and I've seen guys run it with 2 Hotos. Now that's really expensive. All right, I'm not gonna lie, that's very expensive. But the idea is that, okay, you kill everything with your weapons, all right? You do your battle orders, you do your battle command, bump your skill levels, you do your battle orders, okay, fine. And then you run around and you work after you kill everything with your weapon set. And what that's going to do is going to bump your skills on this even. Ooh, hey, that sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? And hey, guess what? That feeds off of war cries. It is a war cry, all right? Now for the mercenary, melee build, you pretty much set your mercenary up the same way. So I've got a duress on me. I gave him my old duress, and I built an obedience thresher, all right? Now the threshers, they're fairly common once you start getting deep enough into hell level. Threshers are fairly common, but I built this one because, well, for actually several reasons. Lessens the target defense, it has a massive increase to damage, and it also adds crushing blow. Pretty darn good, actually, to crushing blow, not to mention the resistances. My mercenary's resistances are, oh wow, his cold resistance is 230, but everything else is 200. Look at that. Mercenary's got killer resistances, right? So, all in all, with the lifesteal that he gets off of this, I figure, yeah, he has pretty good survivability actually. And that's really the thing that you want to worry about with your mercenaries, is their survivability. So let me run out here real quick, and I'm going to demo the war cry setup. So for those of you that aren't aware of this, it took me a long time to figure this out too, so hopefully this isn't new information for everybody and I'm the only idiot out there. Not that anybody's an idiot because they don't know this, but so if you do battle command, notice the stats. You can pause this anytime, but notice the stats. Okay, you bump that, and then what you do is you hit the skin, and then you switch over to your battle orders to bump life. Now, hopefully you noticed my life earlier was at like 15, 1600. Now it's at 28. Right? Now, if I switch over to the other one with a thing even higher, it's 2950. Right? And I know it's really, really low level compared to some of y'all out there. Alright? I understand that. So, again, this isn't like, oh, look at me, I'm the best build ever. This is a walkthrough. This is basic introductory stuff. Alright? Now notice how the Barbarian, the frenzy barb gets faster, and it can become really tricky. Actually, but nonetheless. Alright. So, anyway, that's him in action, right? He kills stuff in action. He kills Act 1 health pretty good. He'll do the Countess, he'll do the pit, no problem. He's really good for running through the pit. But here's what I'm worried about, what my primary reasoning for using Phase Blades is. Notice, there's something missing off of this, alright? Come over here. Come over here. Now come over here. Go down here, and then I'll come up there, and then I'll go over there, and then I'll come back over here. What's missing? Yes, that's right. Phase blades do not suffer from durability. They are an indestructible item. You don't have to worry about it. Which, of course, the drawback to that is that you're never going to find an ethereal phase blade. I don't think I've ever come across an ethereal phase blade, but they don't have durability. So this is one reason, personally, I prefer the sword barbarians, is because phase blades, no durability. Now there are rune words that make the item indestructible. Okay, great. But okay, so pick your poison. Personally, I'm a sword person. I like swords too. So hey, sometimes it's a matter of taste. Swords don't do as much damage, right? Swords don't do as much damage, but you know, if you get this up high enough, look, the attack rating goes up, the damage goes up, and the chance of critical strike goes up. But it does that with all of them. So whatever makes you happy, it's just give you an idea of general things that you might be able to do to make life a little bit easier here in Diablo 2 Resurrected. Now, all of that other stuff aside, hey, you know, there's a really good community here. One other bit of advice in parting that I can give you in relation to getting into Diablo 2 Resurrected or returning to it, make friends. Friends make life a whole lot easier. It can be really, really difficult, especially in the ladder. It can be really, really difficult to get in on big games. And sometimes having a friend along the way, even 1-2 friends, is the difference between getting a code room out of the cow level and a bear room, right? So hey, you know, treat it like you would the real world. Make friends and go have a good time, right? Till next time, YouTube. Thank you for stopping by. As always, please be sure to like and subscribe. Let's keep the channel going.